Alright guys, so we got some more news regarding the Guardians of the Galaxy update, so I wanted to share it with you guys. As you can see right now, we have the maintenance notice letting us know that on Tuesday, the game will be going down for a couple hours, and after it comes back up, the Guardians of the Galaxy will be here for Volume 3. And as you can see, we got the key art, which is looking absolutely fire. Check out Mantis. She looks absolutely phenomenal. I'm sorry, boys. Share your thoughts in the comment section. How do you feel? Scale of 1 to 10, Mantis uniform. Star-Lord looks cool. Still doesn't look as close to Chris Pratt as some of you guys may want it to look. However, I still think it looks way better than the first image that they showed us. Also, we got a confirmation that that boy Groot is getting a tier 3. Yes sir, let me just move it over a little bit more for you guys, as you can see right there. Now you may be wondering, wait a second, how does this confirm that Groot is getting a tier 3? Well, in the live stream, we got confirmation that Star-Lord is getting a tier 4. We also got confirmation that Mantis is getting an awakened skill, and in that awakened skill, we're gonna have Mantis and Nebula alone, just them two. And then it confirmed as well that Rocket will be a tier 3. There's absolutely no way that these guys could justify giving Groot a uniform and leave him trapped at tier 2. They're stupid sometimes, but not that stupid, right? I hope not, because at this point, with characters going to tier 4 as the ultimate level of power, it would make absolutely no sense to leave Groot at tier 2 and give him a new uniform and expect phenomenal numbers. People love Groot, but truthfully speaking, buying uniforms for tier 2 characters that aren't supports, who knows, maybe he becomes a top tier support, but even then, is still pushing it. It would have to be a phenomenal support and actually be needed for quite a bit of content, or at least content that people care about. So I'm willing to bet that Groot is getting tier 3, Rocket tier 3, Star-Lord tier 4, Mantis and Nebula awakening. However, I think they're gonna make us wait for the Nebula uniform and drop it as a part of the second half of this update, along with Drax, Gamora, and maybe Adam Warlock. We could be seeing an 8 uniform update with at least 2 tier 4s and 2 tier 3s, because keep in mind that Gamora and Drax already have their awakening, so more than likely the only thing that these guys are gonna get are new uniforms, because I'm willing to bet that they're gonna be giving us 2 blast tier 4s in this update. They stand to make the most money from giving Adam Warlock a tier 4 right after Star-Lord, because if the people who really like Star-Lord tier 4 him, they're not gonna have enough books like Books of Ashanti and tier 4 materials to tier 4 this guy, because keep in mind he's a tier 2 native, and people who didn't already own Adam Warlock, well, they're gonna have to shell out crystals to buy him, then buy his uniform, and if they're low on tier 4 materials, they're gonna have to buy tier 4 materials. You hear all those buy dollars, okay? buy your wallet. This guy, even if you don't pick up his new uniform, him going to tier 4 getting that stat bump means he's gonna become a big threat in PvP once again, and he's barely now just being pushed out because of tier 4. So I'm gonna say this right now, even if you like Star-Lord, I would say maybe hold off tier 4ing him if you don't spend excessively on the game to see if they actually do that, because who knows, maybe they decide to give Gamora tier 4 instead of Adam Warlock right now. Maybe they give us a break, maybe they go Star-Lord, Gamora tier 4, and then maybe come back to Adam Warlock later. But I'm willing to bet money that they're gonna do 2 blasts back to back, because then you don't have the blast books, because it takes about 2 weeks and a bit to actually get enough blast books. But regardless of how you look at it, this is gonna be a pretty big update, one of the biggest we've seen in quite some time. Like, we have quite a few uniforms coming in. I'm looking forward to seeing how they're gonna basically innovate Groot, because Groot has gotten quite a few uniforms. As you can see, he's gone from combat to universal to speed. The only thing we have not seen from this guy is actually a blast uniform, and I don't think he's ever gonna get one. Truthfully, I don't think he would fit in the blast category. His last 2 uniforms have been kind of trash. The universal one was pretty decent back when it came out because it changed him to a whole different typing, which gives him type advantage in certain different game modes. Obviously, Groot has never been a top tier DPS, so I'm looking forward to seeing if they actually decide to make him such this time around, or if they actually like double down or triple down on his support abilities and give us something that's actually worthwhile. This uniform doesn't really offer much in the way of support, but this one right here gives you 7% dodge and increases your recovery rate. It's not necessarily that great. However, I really like the skills on this version of Groot right here, and truthfully speaking, this is I think most people's favorite version of Groot. Him being able to drop these healing things on the ground for co-op game modes is actually pretty good. I believe they heal your allies, not just Groot. And then you have another heal on his third skill here where he just drops a bunch of healing things. This right here is the best they've ever done for Groot in terms of like utility. I really like that one skill too, like that iframe where he just slides under the enemy and then just like snipes them. Amazing, absolutely top tier. Whoever designed that first skill was great. It was even good for PvP a while back, a long while back. This one right here gave you the same amount of recovery rate but gave you ignored defense, which is kind of useless. So I'm curious to see, really curious to see how they're gonna make Groot a worthwhile purchase for a lot of people, or people like me, for example, that have a lot of characters built up. And if he's going back to being a combat character, in addition to that heal, it would be best if they did something like this for him. For Groot's uniform bonus, if they made it so that he could remove all debuff from Guardians of the Galaxy allies, that would be really, really good for Alliance Conquest, especially when you consider the fact that a lot of people like to use Drax's leadership for combat teams, but even though Drax has debuff removal on his kit, he actually has to use a skill to get the debuff removal. So sometimes you might get debuff before you get to this skill, and then you could get killed off if you get silenced or whatever, right? So a lot of people, even though they want to use Drax's leadership, which is really, really good, 65% more HP, Drax has pretty good base HP, especially when you consider the fact that he's a transcended character. Now, if you consider the fact that Groot is a combat character, if you combine Groot with debuff removal and a heal with Drax on the team as a leader, and I don't know, maybe Captain America or another combat character, that would be actually a pretty good team for AC because they wouldn't be missing much. Drax has iframe ignore. He has the ability to do damage to people or extra damage to people that have the debuff removal effect because of his mockery passive, and he himself would be getting debuff removal passively. So I really think that's what they should consider doing for Groot. I think making him a good support character for either Alliance Conquest or the other Real Arena might actually have some appeal to people, because realistically where we are right now, most people build their tier 4 characters for PvE content. So unless Groot comes in with Kamala Khan type DPS, most people aren't going to be buying his uniform for that. So here's to hoping the Guardians of the Galaxy, with so many different members, have a lot of team synergy. Because they have so many different members, it's actually quite shocking to see that even though the Guardians have so many different members, they actually don't have their own team ability. Like, let's say for example, we have the Symbiote, they have their own tags. The Sinister Six, they have their own tag. Gamma Radiation, they have their own tags. So it would be cool if the Guardians of the Galaxy got their own tag, especially when you consider the fact that Drax only has one tag. So he's never really gonna be top tier for World Boss Legend because you need a lot of tags like leadership, weapon master, energy projection, etc. And Groot is the exact same way. So characters like these that don't have a lot of ability tags natively, it would make sense to give them a team-based ability, because truthfully speaking, I don't believe the healing tag actually pops up on many stages in World Boss Legend. I think there's only one stage, and I think it's like stage 80 something against Gore. I'm pretty sure. Regardless though, I'm excited to see what they do for Groot this time around, because there's no way these guys could be in their right mind and expect people to buy a 5th uniform for Groot and keep him at tier 2 still. They even milked us for a seasonal uniform for full price, $17.50, and they couldn't make him good. So guys, leave me your thoughts in the comments. Are you excited for this Groot uniform? Which of these Guardians of the Galaxy characters are you most excited for? And I'll catch you guys in the next one.